Welcome to the podcast, The Red Letters. This morning we are going to be reading from Matthew chapter 8. This is episode 6 of The Red Letters as we walk through what the Messiah really had to say. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us on this walk through the Messiah's words. I hope that you will see the Messiah's words in a different light, that you will decide to hide them in your heart, that you may not sin against Yahuwah. Let us begin. Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. It says, "When he has come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him." I always thought that was beautiful right there, because he came down from the mountain. You see, in Mount Sinai, whenever he gave the Torah to the great multitude of both Israel and the foreigner, he remained on the mountain. Only Moshe the servant came down from the mountain. But this time, Yahuwah himself came down from the mountain with the great multitude of people. This is very significant, you see. That little line right there in Matthew chapter 8 is a fulfillment of the prophecy where Yahuwah said, "I will walk among my people. I will be their Elohim, and they shall be mine, a precious and peculiar people. He will tabernacle among his people." And here he is, that he came down from the mountain, and great multitudes followed him. I like to intrigue people to think, that great multitude that followed Yahusha HaMashiach, do you think they were all Jews? Nah, they weren't all Jews. But do we see anywhere so far in Matthew? Have we seen anywhere in the first 7 chapters where Yahusha taught a different doctrine to the Gentiles and a different doctrine to the Jews? We haven't seen that yet, right? Well, let's keep looking. Maybe he did by the end. I don't know. Let's see. Well, actually, I do know, but let's discover together, shall we? So that was verse 1. Verse 2, it says, "And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Adonai, if you will, you can make me clean. And Yahushua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahushua said unto him, See that you tell no man, but go your way, show yourself to the priests, and offer the gift that Moshe commanded for a testimony unto them." Now, if we were to go back into the book of Leviticus, when someone had leprosy, hey guys, thank you for joining me. But if we were to go back into the book of Leviticus and see what a man was supposed to do when he had leprosy, he was supposed to come unto the high priest, and the high priest would evaluate him and determine whether or not he should go outside of the city with the other lepers and await their cleansing period of 7 days. So I always thought it was beautiful that this man, only known as a leper, he had lost his identity, right, as a person. He identified with his illness. He knew that the Messiah was his priest. And so he came to the Messiah and he called him Adonai, which means to be over or under his authority, in other words. And because he called out to him as his priest, knowing full well, in full trust, that he could make him clean, Yahushua did. He cleansed him. That was the office of the priesthood in the book of Leviticus. This is significant. This is why I stopped here, Because Yahusha is our high priest. He is the one we come to when we begin to identify as a leper, a diseased one. And what is the ultimate disease? Sin. Sin and uncleanliness. According to the books of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, that is what separates us from our high priest, our Yahusha Mashiach. And so we come to him to be cleansed. Then it says in verse 5, and when Yahusha had entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, and saying, Adonai, my servant lies at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. So here we know that the centurion would have been Roman. He would not have been a Jew. He would have been a Roman. So this is another great significance here, because this confirms that the great multitude that followed him was not a bunch of Jews. It was everyone. Everyone that heard him and desired to know more about him followed him. That's quite significant, as we do not see the Messiah teaching one doctrine for one people and another doctrine for another. The idea here is that we come back to the unity of the words of the Messiah. And so, my servant lies sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. Yahusha said unto him, I will come and heal him. But the centurion answered and said, Adonai, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. Again, Adonai, or Elua, is a sign that this centurion has submitted to the authority of the priest, Yahusha HaMashiach, okay, or the rabbi, Yahusha HaMashiach. As he was called priest, he was called rabbi, he was called these things. Wonderful counselor, mighty father, all of these things. So it's very important here that we see that a Greek submitted to the authority of the priestly office of Yahusha and sought the healing of his servant through the word of the Messiah. His words heal us, don't they? Yes, they do. That's why I've made it my goal to read his words back to you in hopes that you will take hold of the words of the Messiah and be healed. Be healed from what? The lies and deception in this world that are teaching the words of the Messiah incorrectly. So, be like the centurion and desire to hear the word of the Messiah so that it takes part here in your heart. So then it says, for I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Yahusha heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Amen, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith. No, not in Yasharal. Now here is something neat. That word faith in Hebrew is emuana. Emuana means literally firmness, figuratively security, morally fidelity, faith, set office, stability, steady, truly, truth, or aman. Now, why is that important? Because that word faith in the Hebrew, emwana, means to be steady in the truth. It's not something in our mind where we're just like, I got faith, I believe. No, it's a thing in all of us, in our heart, in our strength, that we truly stand solid in the truth. That is faith. It's a sign through our actions, not just something that we say we believe with our mouth. It's very important to understand the Hebrew way of our Messiah. And verse 11 of chapter 8 of Matthew, it says, I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Yahusha said unto the centurion, Go your way, and as you have believed, so it be done unto you. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. And isn't that something that Yahusha spoke prophecy right there? He said that people will come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom. The Messiah was calling all people from all places. All people from all places. This means both the children of the kingdom, known as Yasharal, the native born, and the foreigner. He was calling all people back to him. If you go back to the Sinai moment in the book of Exodus, you will find that the Torah given on Mount Sinai, in other words, the instructions from the mouth of Yahuwah, were given for both the foreigner and the native born. It says that there will be one Torah, one instruction for both those born in Yasharal and for the foreigner. Here the Messiah is confirming the words in the book of Exodus that there is one for both the foreigner and the native born. Hey Neymar, I'm glad you're here with us. So guys, nothing's changed. The Messiah's words match the words of Yahuwah. All right? This is important to understand because he did not call us to remain as Greeks. He did not call us to remain as anything else, but children of Yahuwah we should become. Okay. Let's keep reading here. And when Yahusha had come into Kepha's house, he saw his woman's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she arose and ministered unto them. When the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the Ruhath with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Yeshu the prophet, saying, He himself took our infirmities and bore our sicknesses. That's beautiful, isn't it? I'm thankful that the Messiah is willing to come in to our homes and heal us of our sicknesses and our diseases. And how does he do it? He does it through his Omer in Hebrew. He does it through his word. Later on, Yahusha will say that my word will set you free. You see, that's why it's important to know the red letters and where they come from and put them in our heart that we might do them, to be doers of the words of the Messiah. Why? Because it's his word that cast out the devils. Let's take that seriously, shall we? Verse 18. Now when Yahusha saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Rabbi, I will follow you whithersoever you go. And Yahusha said unto him, The foxes have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Adam has not where to lay his head. And another of his Talmidim, or his disciples, said unto him, Adonai, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Yahusha said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. That's so significant. We could all make excuses in our life, couldn't we? I have this job, my wife does this, my husband does that. You know, I've got all this going on. But he says, follow me. That means to cast off the cares of this world and become a doer of the word of the Messiah. Very important. Verse 23 of Matthew chapter 8 says, "And when he was entered into a ship, his Talmidim, or his disciples, followed him." So who are his disciples? Those who continue to follow him despite all the things of this world going on, right? "And behold, there arose a great earthquake in the sea, and so much so that the ship was covered with waves, but he was asleep. And his Talmidim came to him and awoke him, saying, Adonai, save us, we perish. And he said unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" Hey, Neymar, I am from Temple, Texas. Thank you. What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? You see, he wasn't just a manner of man. Who is it that the winds and the sea obey? If we were to go back into the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, we would discover there is only one that the winds and the sea obey, and that is Yahuwah. Yahusha is Yahuwah, and he showed it through his deeds, his words, and his actions. "And when he was come to the other side into the country of the Girgashim, there met him 2 possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceedingly fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with you, Yahusha, son of Elohim? Are you come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If you cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished in the waters. And they that kept them fled, and went their ways into the city, and told everything, and what had befallen to the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Yahusha, and when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coasts. Now that's kind of sad, isn't it? Here Yahusha just freed 2 men. You see in verse 20 it says, And when he was come to the other side of the country of the Girgashim, there met him 2 possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceedingly fierce. I thought that was intriguing because most people teach that as 1 man, but it was actually 2 men. 2 men. That's what it says. Now, these 2 men needed freedom. How did they receive it? Through the word, through the command, through the mouth of Yahusha. How do we receive freedom? From his mouth. We receive freedom from the truth that came from the mouth of Yahuwah by taking his words, putting them in here. That's why the red letters are so important. I hope that this has helped you today. I hope that you will take seriously what the red letters are. I hope that you will not just glance over the words of the Messiah found in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those same words of the Messiah which are found in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's right. You can find the words of the Messiah in the first 5 books of the Bible. The question is, are you willing to look? Are you willing to seek the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness above all else? Are you willing to follow him wherever he leads you, whatever he teaches you? He is the great teacher, the great rabbi. He is also our healer. He is also our Abba. He is also our salvation. Yahuwah is Yahusha, and blessed is the one who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Take his word seriously, my dear friends. Shalom.